Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Emmanuel Morel Show. Today we're going to start with the action of the DCCC in Washington, D.C. The DCCC is a Democratic Democratic committee in Washington, D.C. that handles the politicians, the Democratic politicians that pledges money, that gives them money. It's a very powerful organization within the Democratic Party. Recently, just last week, they announced that no organization should support anyone who challenges an incumbent. This does not sound very democratic to me. They actually say they will make sure that any organization that supports an incumbent will not be able to do business with the Democratic Party. Now, if the Republicans had done so, we Democrats would be jumping up and down, saying how undemocratic it is. But when it is Democrats who have done that, everybody keeps quiet. But I will not keep quiet. As a progressive, it behooves us to be democratic. Anyone can challenge anybody at any time for whatever position, including the presidency of these United States of America. No one has the right to say that an incumbent should not be challenged. It is undemocratic. As president of the Palm Beach County Democratic Caucus, I stand ready, or we stand ready as a caucus, to fight the DCCC to boycott any of their candidates. Any candidate that goes along with the DCCC should be boycotted. We progressives will not go quietly. We will fight back. We will not allow those who cater to the 1% to tell the 99% how they should live, how they should behave. We've had enough. We need Democrats to be democratic. You cannot say that we cannot challenge incumbents, and yet you say we're running a Democratic Party. Something is wrong. When a group made up of Democrats that caters to the rich, that caters to the powerful, will say that, well, no one should challenge an incumbent. So in other words, Ted Kennedy should not have challenged Jimmy Carter in 1980. Bobby Kennedy should not have challenged Lyndon Johnson in 1968. Something is wrong. If we are the Democratic Party, we must be strong enough to withstand challenges. I was so shocked when I read that piece. I'm like, really? Democrats doing this to Democrats? Because we wish to challenge incumbents? The names of no incumbents are inscribed anywhere forever. What has made us great as a nation is the fact that one can challenge the other. We cannot say that Bank of America should not be in the same street, should not have a competition from Nations Bank, from Wells Fargo. I don't think Nations Bank is around anymore. What has made us great is competition. The same DCCC that's saying no one should challenge incumbents they're the same ones who are seeking to primary AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar. They're the same ones because they don't like progressives. They don't like people who keep the feet of the rich, of the powerful, into the fire. We must be willing to welcome challenges. This makes me angry when an organization that's supposed to represent Democrats will stand up and say, no one should challenge an incumbent. Who died and made you king? When did the Constitution change? I guarantee you, if the Republicans had said something like that, we Democrats would be all over them. No. We will not listen. We will not follow. We will challenge anyone at any time, anywhere. If you're not speaking for the poor, if you're not speaking for the downtrodden, if you're not speaking for the students with debts that are killing them, if your goal is to make sure that the 1% stays, that nothing trickles down, that nothing is given to the poor, no, we're not going to be quiet. We're not going to stop challenging them. Because there are many incumbent Democrats who don't give a hoot about the poor. They're only Democrats because they want to win votes wherever they are. But it's not because they believe in democratic principles. No organization is perfect. But you cannot tell us that no one should challenge anyone. If we cannot have competition, how can the best people go forward? Competition is good in business and it's good in politics. Unfortunately, the DCCC is killing the Democratic Party. Because whenever progressive steps up, they find candidates with money to move into the area and run for office. Because money rules. You don't like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, you don't like Ilhan Omar, you don't like any of our new progressives in Congress. And yet, you're telling us to stop challenging incumbents while you are looking to primary Cortez and Ilhan Omar? No. You don't like Bernie Sanders because he fights for the poor, he fights for the downtrodden, he fights for the marginalized folks. Some of us know what it's like to be poor. Some of us know what it's like not to be able to pay our bills. Some of us know what it's like to be homeless, what it's like not to be able to pay our electric bills. Some of us know what it's like to work 80 hours a week and not be able to make ends meet. So folks like Bernie Sanders, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, and many others who just got elected, they're fighting for us. They're fighting for the common good. The rich already have had their rewards. To say that I'm angry is an understatement. We say we are Democrats. We are the party of FDR. We are the party of Kennedy, of Johnson. Yet we don't want competition. Enough. We've had enough. We will continue to join with those who move us, who inspire us to go forward. We will continue to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. We are not the party of the rich for the rich. We are the party of FDR, the party of Kennedy, the party of Johnson. Don't forget that the Republicans say that FDR was a socialist because he came up with Social Security. Because he said that everyone deserves to have a decent home to live. Because he said that everyone should have health care. Because he said that everyone should be able to make a living wage. They called him a socialist. We cannot continue like this. You're not helping us. You're not helping the party. You got to understand the masses of the party are not rich like you. There is a big difference between us and the Republicans. At least there should be. We're not the party of Donald Trump. We are the Democratic Party. And we progressives believe in change, fundamental change. Everyone should be able to make a decent living, should make a living wage. Everyone deserves to have health care. No one should be homeless in these United States of America. No one. In the richest country in the history of mankind, people go bankrupt because of hospital bills. People go bankrupt because of education bills. In the richest country in the world, in the history of the world, this is where we are today. So we progressives will continue to challenge. We will continue to fight until the very end, until we take our last breath. Enough is enough. When Donald Trump is trying to take away health care from people, instead of directing our weapons at him and at them, you directing your weapons at us progressives. Because Democrats refuse to stand up for something. From here on out, our voices will be louder than most. We will fight until the very end. Again, we will fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. We will fight for those who cannot make a decent living. We will fight for those who do not have health care. We will fight for those who are burdened down with student debts. Student loans are crippling people. But you do not stand up and fight for them to give them relief. We progressives will continue to fight for forgiveness of student loans until the very end. Because what we have right now, the situation we have in this country right now, is not sustainable. It is not sustainable. We're not number one anymore. America is not number one because America has forgotten the poor. America has forgotten the middle class. And the middle class was built up by unions. And unions have been under attack since January 20th, 1981. We Democrats should be fighting for the unions. And the unions should be fighting for the masses. Not for those at the top in their unions, but for the masses. Because I have seen this, where the unions themselves are only fighting for the people at the top. Enough is enough. We need people who will truly prove to have integrity. Americans are under attack. The poor are within the crosshairs. The middle class is being destroyed. The middle class lifts the very rich and is destroyed by the very poor, because the rich keep everything right now. We believe that taxes should be raised on the very rich. Yes, we believe that their taxes should be raised. When we say that those who make over $10 million a year should pay at least 70%, how many Americans make over $10 million a year? You want to fight for them, fight for them. But we will continue to fight for those who are making $100,000 or less, because that's what most Americans make. That's what most Americans make. Most Americans make less than $100,000, less than $50,000 a year. They're barely surviving. They're the ones we should be fighting for every single day. Every action, every breath that we take should be about them, not about the very rich. Every breath that we take, every step that we make should be about helping those at the bottom, lift them up, and not allowing them to fall back to the ground. That's what we should be about. I personally know what it is like to be hungry. I know what it is like to be homeless. I know what it is like to be extremely poor when you don't know where the next meal is coming from. Yes, there are Americans right now who are facing the same dilemma that I faced as a child. We should be fighting for them, not for those at the top. Every single day, they should be in our minds. We should remember what it was like to be homeless. We should remember what it was like not to be able to pay our car notes, not to be able to pay our electric bills, our water bills. We should remember what it was like to walk in and find the lights off, the electricity off, the water off. We should remember, we should fight for those people. Instead, you turn around fighting those of us who are fighting for them. Let the word go forth from this day forward that we will be the loudest in this country. We will not back off. We will support candidates who support us. We will support candidates who vow to provide health care for every American. We will support candidates who vow that every American should make a decent living wage, that women should make the same as men, that the elderly should not be left alone to die in despair. We will fight for those people. We will not fight for candidates who are timid to say the word poor and middle class, who are timid to say that they will stand up for those folks. Yes, we need a redistribution of wealth, because since January 20th, 1981, the redistribution of wealth has changed. Everything has gone to the top. And 99% of us can hardly breathe. 99% of us, we're just one paycheck away from being homeless. One paycheck. One serious disease hit us. We're done. So this cannot continue. So we are progressives. We stand for the poor the same way FDR stood for the poor. He was called a socialist. We are being called socialists. Whatever you call us, we don't care. No, we all. We want to fight this climate that is about to kill the world. Climate change is real. Climate change is real. Look what's happening in the Midwest of this country. Ask the folks in Nebraska. Ask them today. So we will not go quietly into the night. We will fight. So get ready. Yes, we will challenge incumbents who do not stand for the people. We will make life miserable for those who do not stand for the poor, for those who do not stand for the middle class. We will make their lives miserable. Because it is time that the poor and the middle class are recognized in this country. That they are human beings who deserve health care, who deserve a living wage, who deserve a decent environment. Every time the sugar companies burn their fields, my son comes down with asthma. It's not that they cannot control it. They will not control it because of money. They don't care what happens to my child. They don't care what happens to those with asthma. They don't care. It's all about money. Yet many Democrats continue to take money from them and will not go after them. Because they rule, they control. But some of us have decided that we will die. We are soldiers and we will die with our boots on. We will continue to fight for those who don't have. And it's not because people are lazy. People are working harder and harder than ever before. But they're not making a decent living wage. We've had enough. We are having a fight within the party, and we welcome it. Thank you so much for listening. May God bless you, and may God bless these United States of America.